Get ready to tune in, turn back the dial, and rediscover the airwaves of yesteryear. This is Echoes from the Past, your backstage pass to the shows that changed everything.
One of the most fascinating radio programs of all time is You Are There. It's a beloved series that takes its listeners back to pivotal moments in history, recreating events with the kind of vivid soundscapes you can practically hear and feel. And honestly, it's no surprise why so many hold it dear. It's both entertaining and deeply educational. I mean, where else can you experience history coming to life, down to the rattle of muskets or the solemn murmurs of the crowd? Take, for instance, the reenactment of Abraham Lincoln's assassination. The show captures the exact tension of that evening in Ford's Theater. You can almost see John Wilkes Booth walking into the balcony box, his footsteps deliberate, the haunting unease hanging in the air. It's powerful in that it makes history visceral, not just something you read in books. And then there's the storming of the Bastille, an episode that stuck with me personally. I still remember the first time I heard it. The clash of swords, the roar of the French crowd, the way the dialogue transported you right into the chaos of revolutionary Paris. It was like you were standing at the gates, feeling the walls trembling under the weight of rebellion. The sound design, well, it was truly something. But You Are There wasn't just about drama. There's a deeper purpose here. It transported these historical moments into living rooms and classrooms across the nation, making learning as engaging as an action-packed film. Families could gather around their radios and explore lessons about courage, sacrifice, and human ambition, all while being thoroughly entertained. It speaks to the genius of using dramatization, right? To combine storytelling with education in ways that linger with you long after the broadcast ends. And these broadcasts weren't just about the facts. They encouraged listeners, including younger audiences, to ask questions, to imagine themselves in those moments. What would you have done? How would you feel if, say, you were marching alongside a revolutionary crowd or witnessing a tragedy like Lincoln's final moments? And they achieved something remarkable, making history personal, intimate, and entirely alive. The most complex events simplified, but never diminished. That's the kind of brilliance behind You Are There, and why families, kids, and people like me fondly remember it to this day. It's no wonder it became, and continues to be, such a cornerstone for introducing history to young minds. Let's talk about a thread that ties so many episodes of You Are There together. Icons of history. Figures like Napoleon, Julius Caesar, Mary Queen of Scots, and Alexander the Great. These were larger-than-life leaders whose legacies, even centuries later, still captivate people. And I think it's because their stories aren't just about power. They're about ambition, failure, betrayal, the kind of timeless human struggles we can still relate to today. Take Mary Queen of Scots, for example. Her episode dives into the political intrigue, the drama of her imprisonment, and ultimately her tragic end. But it's not just a retelling. It feels immediate. The moments play out with a mix of suspense and, honestly, heartbreak. This isn't just history. It's high-stakes theater. Napoleon, on the other hand, his episode about returning from Elba, it's just dripping with tension. You hear his charisma push the narrative forward, the way he inspires both loyalty and fear with the sharp edge of his ambition. You can almost feel his soldiers rallying back to him, the march toward his fateful battle at Waterloo. It's moments like these that remind us why he's remembered as one of history's most complex figures. And then there's Julius Caesar. His assassination? That episode pulls no punches. The sound design wraps you in the unease of whispers and conspiracies. You hear the betrayal unfold step by step, right up to that infamous clash on the Senate floor. It's painfully vivid. And it captures a kind of timeless question. How does power corrupt even the boldest leaders? And how far will others go to stop them? What's remarkable, though, is how You Are There handles these moments. The podcast doesn't shy away from the darker or more complex sides of history. But it also finds these small human moments, like Socrates calmly accepting his fate or the chaos felt by a soldier at Gettysburg, that make the stories resonate even more. It's a delicate balance that few programs can pull off, staying accurate while delivering emotional depth that keeps you on the edge of your seat. These episodes don't just invite us to look back at history. They challenge us to see how it's shaped the world we live in now. And honestly, that's where the magic happens, when a story hits you both as a lesson and as something deeply personal. When you think about tackling events like World War II or the American Revolution in under 30 minutes, it's kind of mind-boggling, isn't it? I mean, these are moments that shaped entire centuries, shifted the course of nations, and there's just so much to cover. The sheer scale alone feels overwhelming. But that's where You Are There really shines. Somehow they managed to condense history without losing its weight. It's not just facts thrown at you, it's carefully chosen threads, stories within stories, that make the bigger picture come alive. Like distilling an epic novel into a gripping short story, but every word still counts. Every moment, vivid and meaningful. What makes this even more remarkable is how they bring families into the fold. Think about it. These episodes weren't just made for historians or adults. They were for kids, parents, grandparents, gathered together, often after dinner, huddled around the radio. And the magic wasn't just in the storytelling, it was in how those moments sparked curiosity. You know, the kind where a kid might look up and ask, why would they fight a war like that? Or, did Lincoln really say those words? Those are the moments that stick, when learning becomes something you feel, not just something you memorize. And the audio quality, let's talk about that for a second. Those rich soundscapes, they were something else. Whether it was the thunder of cannon fire or the quiet rustling of documents being signed, every detail added layer upon layer to the experience. It's no surprise some of those episodes had such large file sizes. You weren't just listening to a show. You were stepping into a time machine, immersed in the sounds and emotions of that world. But here's what gets me, and maybe it gets you too. It's how they made something as complex as history accessible, and honestly, fun. They took the intimidating edges off without dulling the meaning. That's not easy. It's a kind of alchemy, isn't it? Simplifying without diminishing. And that's what keeps me coming back to these episodes, even now. The way they bridge generations, the way they make history a shared experience. They remind us that the past isn't just something to study, it's something to feel. And that's something You Are There absolutely nailed. On that note, we'll wrap it up here. Thanks for diving into this journey with me, and as always, keep exploring, keep wondering, and I'll catch you next time. Take care.
Thank you for joining us on this journey through the airwaves of the past. We hope you've enjoyed exploring the classic radio shows that shaped generations and left a lasting legacy. Be sure to subscribe so you never miss an episode of Echoes from the Past. If you loved today's episode, don't forget to share it with fellow fans of history, storytelling, and vintage radio magic. Until next time, keep your dial set to the golden era and let the echoes of the past remind us of the timeless power of radio.